Over the past few years, we've seen the rapid development of drones on the battlefield across the world. Ukraine has been the hotbed for them, but we've also seen a lot of drone use in the Red Sea against incoming ships. And one of the concerns that's been brought up is how vulnerable a lot of these ships are to drones. Currently, US Navy destroyers are able to handle these drones. But if a new tactic is used, things might be very different. Today on World Made Simple, we'll take a look at this new tactic that's being developed and how ready the US Navy likely is to intercept it. Hey guys, Bill here. Welcome back to another episode, and today we're jumping on the drone train once again, not to talk about a specific drone, but to talk about a change in tactics, specifically drone swarms. Now I know this sounds like the topic out of sci-fi, and it is, but it's starting to enter reality now, and military planners are scrambling to come up with an answer to it. And especially the US Navy is seeing a huge problem with this. But before we get into that, let's talk about what a drone swarm is. A drone swarm is the use of multiple drones chained together via either an algorithm or a direct link via computer to have them fly in a formation. This is most notably seen in places that use advertisement, which sounds weird, but you attach a light to these, you have it emit certain colors, you have it fly in the air in a formation, and suddenly you have a picture in the sky. Asia's been using this like crazy, and you're starting to see it being used in Europe and America as well. It's a pretty cool system and honestly amazing to see in person. But it has military planners very worried, because if you replace that light with a bomb, this becomes a very, very dangerous system. And the reason is most of the world's ships are not fighting based on a quantity system. They're fighting based on a precision system. If you look at one of our Areligh Burke destroyers, they are jam-packed with weapons, but they're built for Cold War combat. This is meant to intercept incoming missiles and incoming aircraft, usually in small numbers. The Areligh Burke is limited in the amount of objects that it can track via radar, and this many drones would definitely overwhelm the ship. Even if the radar wasn't a problem, once the drones do get into range, the ship's going to run out of anti-air missiles relatively quickly if there's a drone swarm of over 100 or 200. And to add more issues on top of this, the CIWS, or close-in weapon systems of the Areligh Burke, will likely run out of ammo before they can stop the drone swarm. And granted, you're going to have a couple of Areligh Burkes operating together, but if you have a drone swarm of 1, 2, 3, 400 drones, it's likely those ships will be overwhelmed, and it's very likely that the first thing those drone swarms will try and target is the radar and tracking arrays on those ships. And with those down, those ships can't really fight too well after that point. It's all manual, which becomes even more difficult to combat drones with. So currently, our ships are not prepared to address drone swarms. And not just our ships, but pretty much everyone around the world. Everyone is still in a Cold War mentality for naval warfare. The missile still is the primary offensive weapon, at least for now. So if the drone does come into dominance and end up becoming the main concern of any naval asset, what are some of the ways that we can intercept it? Well, the Areligh Burke platform, our primary destroyer, would be the one platform that we would look at and see, hey, what can we do to kind of adjust this to be able to fight off drones? There's three big ways that we can do it. The first type of weapons platform that we're considering putting on the Areligh Burkes that would be perfect to intercept these incoming drones are the laser systems, such as LAWS or Helios. And these systems will work really, really well in this case. They're very cheap to use. They can be fitted onto the destroyers we currently have now. Some of them are, and they are very capable of taking down a drone. Only problem is we could only put maybe one or two of these systems on the Areligh Burke. We've mentioned in the laser video that we're already drawing a lot of power from these ships, and adding more laser systems isn't feasible for this design. So you can place some lasers on board, but it likely won't be enough to stop these drone swarms. The second type of system that could work very well, we're seeing in Ukraine quite often, and that's jamming, either by kind of breaking the radio signals that are controlling the drones, or just causing them to stall out for the brief second to target them. Either way, it's very effective, and you could mount these systems on the ships. Unfortunately, we're seeing in Ukraine that it's kind of a cat and mouse game, where the drone operators are changing different frequencies, jumping to different channels, all to regain control of the drone. So it might be a temporary fix at best. It could absolutely help the ships, but it might not be the best solution. The last one is a bit old-fashioned, but still works, and that is put as much firepower in the air as possible. and that is flak batteries. Basically, you just put as many guns as possible on the ship, direct them all at the sky, and have them just unload with as much ammunition as humanly possible. And this could work. Problem is, once again, you are limited by ammunition, and you're limited by the amount of space that's currently on these ships. Just about every square inch of space has been used on the Areligh Burkes, and if you start taking other weapon systems off, you remove the ability of the ships to counter other threats. So you're in a rock and a hard place when it comes to retrofitting the current designs. You could try and retrofit these onto the upcoming destroyer models that the US Navy is building, but they're still not going to be out for another probably 10-15 years. So the Areligh Burke is what we're going to have for right now. With the 3 different types of countermeasures kind of listed, what is the current stance of the US Navy? Well, we really don't know. They haven't made a lot public other than the fact that they're looking into different technologies. And currently, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. We know that they have the Helios system, we know that there are some drone countermeasures, but we're not sure how effective they are, and we're not sure how they'll be mounted on our ships for defense. Regardless of what the US Navy is doing, it's very clear our adversaries around the world are taking note. Iran has been producing a ton of drones and learning a lot from the Ukraine war. China has been mass producing swarm drones for public events, and they could very easily start doing the same for military warfare. So this is a technology that we have to be aware of for the United States as a whole to remain safe. Because if China uses this type of technology in a battle for the South China Sea, it's very likely the US Navy would not be able to respond to a threat of this kind very well. So we'll see what happens with this drone tactic. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is something that's still in the realm of science fiction, or do you think this is something that we absolutely need to be concerned about and the Navy needs to start addressing now? Let me know in the comments below, but for right now, I will see you guys next week. Take it easy.